How's everyone doing? This is Moku. We are here to talk about the game testing, or personally, my personal experience with game testing. Let me just close that monitor I have. I'm no longer drawing on the monitor, so that should be good. Lighting's alright. There's still the second monitor. Fuck it, keep it there. Okay, so I know I've spoken a lot about the previous experience I've had with game testing. It's around 8 years, 9 years, and there's certain things I can talk about, which is mostly in the past, and there's some things I can't talk about. Okay, this light. Alright. There's some things I can't talk about, which is current year. So I'll try to be as transparent as I can be about certain things, but not about the modern things, of course, because I am on contract, hoping it goes away. So I really, really fucking loved the game industry. Double emphasis on loved. Now it's a whole different thing, and mostly precising AAAs, not the indies. Indies, I'm completely down with them. AAA, couple of experiences. First job was around college time. Took a theater class, fucking hated it. Cinema and theater, didn't really like it, wasn't my thing. Thus, I was looking elsewhere because I was mostly into animation, but we have this stupid little French law where if you do not pass with a certain percentage of French, then you can't get access to your college classes. So, skipped around, went to a French college, then went to an English college. But before that, there was one point where I like video games. I like playing them. Let's go apply to the local companies. So I applied various places, was really tenacious, went every fucking morning and applied because I really wanted to get in there. And at one point, that morning, took the call and was like, I'm getting an interview at this place X. So I go up to the building of place X, and the interview went really well. Showed them that was around, I think, Metal Gear Solid 3 time. I think, I'm not too sure, around that time. Okay, because Devil May Cry 3 wasn't out yet, but I was still there around that time. So spoke about experience with previous game, going from Super Nintendo right now to PS2. A couple of bugs I found on PC because I joined some open betas on PC, found a good amount of bugs. Spoke about that experience, and then was summoned for a test. Test was quite fucked up. It was something I didn't expect, but I really enjoyed it because it kind of gave me a refresher on controller buttons, mechanics, terminology, and all that. So eventually I passed the test. Awesome. Got into the building. This was great. Got the training. Did some knockout punches. And then went on to my first project, which is from Project Studio X. But it was around my genre. Third person, blah, blah, blah. Won't really talk about it now. So that went well. That project ended, shipped out, wrapped it up. It was a party. It was great. Got to meet a lot of people. Got to meet my mentor, who is currently working on a comic that I've purchased. I should get it, but I'll leave that for another blog. So I met a lot of great people, a lot of testers I keep contacting nowadays. A lot of people I lost contact because they got the fuck out of there. And so it was great. After that project was shipped on to a smaller project, which was really quick, but again, it was a breeze. It was a bliss because loved the new project, first-person shooter, right up my alley because I was into Counter-Strike back then, and Quake and all that. So met a lot of great people, did a fuck ton of overtime, especially around those early projects. A great amount of overtime. Mostly because there was the subtle promise of being hired full time. So once I started out, I just want to get in there full time. Let's go overtime. Blah, Red Bull. Worst thing to do: do not take Red Bull. It takes 1 day of your life per drink. But yes, that was a time, just going fucking nuts. Going, yeah, meeting the people in the studio, meeting different departments, meeting the different studios, speaking with a lot of artists, because I wanted to know where to go at that point. I still didn't fucking know what I wanted to do in art. So, after that project, I got the notice, well, we'll call you back. When are you going to call me back? We'll call you back. Okay. All right. So during that period, I was looking around schools. I was actually getting another side job, been a security guard. Some boring. Never again. Not doing it again. It was quite boring. But that was back then. Now maybe I can look at it from another angle. I could get some interesting references or notice people's attitude. There's more stuff. Anyhow, so then 6 months later, 6 months later, hello? Yeah, you want to for another project? I'm down. What took you guys so long? So, got in for a PSP project. It was quick, somewhat short. The project was half and half, a tad bit cringing, but it still ran well. The environment was great. The people, we were a small team of testers and a small dev team, so still got access and to interact with people, still got the right to talk to people, and yada yada yada. Remember what I told you, the right to talk to people like that. It'll come in handy later on. That project's done, so at this point, well, we'll call you back. When? We'll just call you back. Alright. Got the fuck out. Did other things on the side, possibly another run at a security guard job or something else. I do think I was customer service. Never doing it again. I am not a customer service person. Not when there's religious bigots. I'll tell you that story at another point. Anyhow, a couple of months later, maybe 4 to 6 months, got the call. Yo, you back for another project? Let's go! Got into that project, met up with the previous crew, but this was different. This was like co-op. So I was matched up with another person. Now, me at that time, I was still relatively new because the first project was lasting around 3 months. The project I was thrown onto, 2 months. So 5 months. The other project was around, let's say, 4 months or less. So I still didn't get my full year experience and I was still new. Thus, can't just... There are certain things you can't do, alright, when you're a new person. So when it came to the person I was matched up with, when it came to that co-op game, this person kept fucking dying. And that's a problem. It's not the get good. No, it's you have to get this amount of work done before this amount of time because we have to give them a report. So stop fucking dying. But I couldn't say it that way because I was new. Of course, there were the other options of talking to a manager, but then that's the whole don't snitch. And at the same time, we're directly linked, so who knows, I could have got shit for that from that other end. So back at that time, I wasn't as bold. Thus, I let it go on, we got a tad bit later, and at one point, I was kind of curious. So once the guy went on break, took his headphone, I threw a grenade on my side. No sound! This guy was playing co-op with no bloody sound. It's a sound-intensive game. If you want to know where the enemies are, there's sound. I was fucking pissed. Gets back to his seat, and you see me. What are you watching? And he was looking at World of Warcraft bullshit. That kind of got me mad. That kind of got on my nerve after a while. And it sucks because I wasn't as bold as I could be now. I wasn't as open as I am now. So I didn't call him out on that. I was still new at the same time. So I didn't want to fuck around with that edge. Yet I didn't call him out. And I was kind of getting jaded and frustrated with the project IP itself. Personal issues. I still think there were a lot of potential for that thing, but that's an external story or an internal story someone else is going to tell you. But let's just say there were a lot of debacles internally around that time. Of course, I said a comment about that specific project that wasn't too good. I wasn't saying it was shit. I was just making a joke about the project, but yet, anyway, my bad. Yet for that other fucker, well, eventually the whole no sound thing kind of costed me. At one point we switched language. So, you know, the voiceovers are different. And I found a bug. A really big bug. Where, sorry, my phone was flashing. I found a big bug. Thus, I entered it. You know, it's a sound bug. And then my lead just, you, in my office. So, we talk. And basically, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Straight up. And I always found that funny about this guy. What the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What the fuck, man? This bug was entered a couple of months ago. Well, yo, we just switched language, man. This other guy's not pulling his shit off at that point. He's the guy that had the previous language. Oh, and I heard those comments you said about the project. I'm like, busted! Alright, my bad. So, that happened. That was a mark. And now I know, after that point, if I ever get into a co-op project or I see a person slacking off, I'll always see if I can call them out or nudge them. I could tell you a recent experience about nudging someone. But anyway, so that happened. Spoke to a couple of other artists inside, and I got the idea to go to a specific college for an art program. So I didn't renew my program. I actually didn't renew my contract. I actually canceled my contract at a certain point to get to college because I passed the test. I was taking anatomy classes before to get a fresher upper. Great teacher. I still need to keep in contact with her because she's hardcore. So at that point, went to college. College didn't really work out because the program I got into is not the thing I really wanted, but it gave me opening into multiple things, or it gave me, how do you say it? It gave me a broad spec, a vision over multiple options. And that was interesting, but just not the thing, because I'm being a jack of all trade, master of none. So at one point, got out, found a testing job at software testing. Thus, at this point, okay, it was an animation software. It was fun for up to 5 months, mostly because they hired me to work on their new comic program, which was fucking fresh. There were, okay, performance issues, but it was fresh. And, 3 months in, yeah, we got to cut that program. It's too close to another one of them, so people would jump on that instead. Hook. So I got onto their mainline project, and I was no longer, doing comics or trying to do presentation comics, even though they tried to jump gun me at one point. Random point saying, alright, show us the program, show us a finished project. And it's like, guys, I'm testing a program, your program's unstable. I'm giving you all those bugs. I can't really show you a finished project if there's still bugs. Anyway, so went into their mainline programs, was, it was interesting, but there were a lot of bullshit from the management, including rush deadlines, copy paste type of applications. I was starting to get less green. And there's one point that just got me near burnout. It's because we had a person that went to paternal leave. We had a person that went to maternal leave. I think we weren't even having a third tester, so I was the only tester with a manager on the other side. Our lead got the fuck out. He got pissed because management just kept, alright, deadline, we gotta get those deadline. And he kept making him look bad. And it's like, what are you doing? You don't make your lead look bad if he's giving you actual dates. Realistic dates. Anyway, so around that time, everyone was out. I was the only one in. They gave me this application that is the size of Photoshop. You got 1 month to test it all. Fuck. So, a delirious amount of overtime. Money in the bag, but you know, money versus health, you gotta watch out. Got that done, and probably not as well done as it could have been, because one tester testing a Photoshop size application is inhuman. In 1 month, it's fucking inhuman. If it's something like Paint, yeah, okay, sure, give it even 2 weeks. But this is Photoshop size with a lot of function and networking to it. Insane. And they're like, yeah, we're good. Gave them some quick test plans, try to play with what they wanted, and it's like, yeah, we're good. Okay, great. And it's like, all right. And after a couple of meetings, because those meetings were really jading, there was one event where we suggested that the testing team would make miniature projects using their programs to show off on the site. Testing team counted of me, ex-student, an animation teacher, a former animator, and a couple of others. You know, because we had people in marketing that were animators as well. Came out from Old Montreal College. And then Big Boss just after hearing this proposal, Big Boss just went, well, we do not have the talent. Dead silence. Oh, yeah. Ask him. Yeah. That was a 5 seconds of, I done fucked up. Let me bounce it back to him. So, fuck that company. I nearly went for a burnout. At that point, I'm like, okay, I'm out. Went into telemarketing. Oh boy, why? Woo! Worst jump of all time. Going from bad testing place to telemarketing. That will cause you a assured burnout. Anyhow, at that point, made a lot of application, and I went into this other game company. It was Montreal. It was a mobile thing. Again, met some terrific people, including Mr. Chukwu and Absolute Zero. Go check out his channel. A couple of other friends as well. We still keep in contact. Much stronger group than back at the Project Place X. So we're going to call this one C. So Studio C, straight up from above. Test, pass with flying colors. I knew my testing. I knew my terms. Went up, look up, mobile, got my new terms. Alright, passed. Here's the deal. 1 year program. You don't get to come back for 3 months. And then we might give you a second year. What's that? Why? I'll tell you on later. A couple of minutes ahead. So, it was a good year. It was a good year. There were a couple of bullshit because there weren't enough computers for everyone, so certain peoples had to test using a single computer. Well, 2 people, single computer. That was a bit hellish, you know, because we have to check the checklist, and those checklists were from people in the morning because I was now on evening shift, and then dealing with people's morning checklists. Sometimes people in the morning, sometimes they hired people who did not know a thing about testing, and it does show. Also, sometimes we had to deal with checklists from other countries, so some of the terms weren't properly translated, and the same went with bug fixing. So it was, you know, half and half, but nothing to, you know, shatter, okay? Nothing to shatter. It was a good year. And after that year, well, kicked out, done. So then I heard, you know, around the end of that, I kind of heard the terms why they didn't want to give you a second year directly. You work for 1 year minus 1 to 2 days. Plus, you get a 3-month break to get to the next year. Why? We don't need to give you a raise, bitch! That was their whole thing. Disgusting, despicable fucking sacks of shit. So they couldn't even fucking bother to give their team a raise. Or to keep their testers. And to give them like a slight raise. They have to kick them out for 3 months. And get a fresh new batch. What does that give you? Lack of consistency. Gives you newbies coming in. I'm not saying anything against newbies, but the problem is, let's say I'm working on... I can't even pull out a game. Give me a second. Alright? Let's say I'm working on... Oh boy, too close to home. Let's say I'm working on Persona, alright? Now, my team just lost its contract. You know, the contract is over. So, part of the team goes away. New people come in. They have no fucking clue what's been entered on this. They have no fucking clue of the cycle of this. So you're stuck with newbies, and there's more mistakes. A lot of mistakes were let go, so that tells me a lot about the quality of that studio. Also, there were a big mistake that was let go. Came right back to bite them in the ass, and the investors just went in the building, fired. Including, oh, you did 30 minutes overtime on this project? You fired! Bullshit. So fuck that studio. Now, I was on a down period because I had nothing else, right? I wasn't about to wait 3 months. It was ludicrous. So there was this brand new studio. Came in. And I'm like, apply! Just apply! This much experience. I've been to this studio, this studios. I had this amount of experience on this project. Software, game testing, this console, this PC, this Mac. There you go. I'm in. But I have a trial period of 3 months to know if I'm going to stay in. And then there was the whole year thing to get, permanency. The year was an evaluation. So that was the best fucking year of my life. This studio knew how to do their shit. They knew how important testers were. They knew about, oh, you want to do programming? Okay, go talk to the programmer. We'll try to match you up. We'll try to have some mini project. We'll try to get stuff going. Because we want to keep you guys in this family. The family concept. It's a bit two-faced because there's some people that they contracted for a while and then didn't renew their contract. But I'll come to that later on. But it was the best year. But I think there was only one scuffle with one tester that didn't take it seriously. I was investigating a crash bug and blah blah blah. We sorted it out. We're fine. So it was like one big happy family. All right. It was fucking great. Went on one of my favorite fucking project up to date. I'll tell you another day. But it was great. All right. Interaction with the developers. Interaction with the developers outside of the studio. We could talk to them on IM. That was the first fucking time. Because there's this whole stigma of, oh, you can't talk to the devs. You just be bothering them. But if some stupid fuckers would just take the time to understand the fact that if you're able to ask a dev how this issue happens on his console and not on yours or vice versa, and then you get that little nitty-gritty information about the mechanics of the game, coding-wise and loading-wise, much easier. We had great systems like that. It was fucking beautiful. After that whole year, bam! Permanency! Yes! Ah! You see that bison scene from the stupid Street Fighter animated thing of just, yes! That was that moment. That was great. I was flying sky high, talking to artists, getting some more notes, doing some training at the end of the day, going to live drawing session. Everything was just rolling, We had some play sessions going at the end of either at noon. We had some Street Fighter, we had some Mortal Kombat. We were playing that shit at noon. Even had a friend of mine, Mr. Shadowloo Soldier. He brought in his PS2 with Capcom vs. SNK2. We had some roundabouts. I had a run-in with Liam and Wooly. And we played some Street Fighter 4. Of course, he kicked my ass because I sucked at Street Fighter 4 with Jury. But it was still fun. Met up with all these great friends. It was a wild time learning, exploring. It was big, heavy family. Even got to test projects that haven't even come out yet. Giving opinions. They gave a fuck. And then something happened. A couple of contracts got cut, snip, snip at the end of their well, a couple of contractors weren't told that they weren't getting renewed at the end of the week. It first started with 3 days notice, then on the day notice. And it really sucked because I lost a lot of friends. Well, they had to go because their their contract wasn't getting renewed, and that was a pain. And then there was this one morning where my manager, who we always talk, tells me to come into his office, and it's like, okay, cool. We usually talk at your office anyway, right? And then the HR person was there, and I go in my head, what? Just not even, what have I done? Just, what? So, they come up to me and they tell me, well, mostly the HR person goes up and says, well, I don't know if you've heard about our financial issues. It's been passing around the net. And I was oblivious. I was skyrocketing on cloud 9. So I'm like, what's going on? I was having a problem there, but just, no, I don't know what's going on. Well, a couple of financial issues, and we're going to have to let you go. We're giving you a lump sum. And it's a pretty big lump sum for at least 3 months. And, you can come back and get your stuff Monday. Fuck you! You get my stuff right now! I need to draw this weekend! So, hell, I didn't even notice during the morning. Another of my friend was stuff cut the same way. So I was stuff cut. Escorted to the elevator. And that was the shittiest moment I've had in this fucking industry. Even if right now I'm in the grunge, and it's mostly due to what happened. Like being, woo! Cloud 9, let's go! Everything's going well. Punch, kick, flash kick, Sonic, boom! Bison wins. And, just making some good hits, making some progress. Everything's going well. And then, yeah, we're going to have to let you go. Cut you off. But yeah, I was devastated, more devastated than angry. And then I got angry, mostly because I heard that certain people that were kept there, I don't know how, I don't know what the selection process was, okay? I know a lot of people were cut, stuff cut. Some people were just flat out cut. And a couple of people left there, bought out by another studio. So they were saved on a certain degree. I can't really tell what happened afterwards, but I hear that things didn't really go that well with that new acquisition or the people on top. But that was the best testing experience I ever had. And it was just wiped away when I was still on cloud 9. And I do believe this is a large part of why I am constantly jaded when it comes to, doing ongoing game testing and when it comes to big company mentality. There's more, but I'll leave it at that for now. Mostly because the modern story leads a bit too close to now, and I'm going to have to make a part 2 in a month or so. But that sucked. And from that point on, I can no longer trust big companies. Went through the shitty time at company C. Bit of a shitty time. Went through the shitty time at the software testing company. Cloud 9. And I know I always attempt to give a company a chance, alright? Even the one that I went in afterwards, and the ones I'm currently at right now. Yet, because of the past events, I target, or how do you say it? It's not target, but I keep my eye open for this kind of political bullshit. And now it feels like this kind of Game of Thrones garbage where it's like, okay, well, they're scheming here, they're scheming there, there's decision being taken here to affect me in such a way, there's decisions being taken there to affect the entire project. Oh god, the people on top, they don't know about deadline. Great. Like, stuck and entrenched. And depending on the studio, because let's say you want to get into testing, depending on the studio, if the higher up do not see you as people that will go on to make their games, people that can give you or give them great suggestion about what's going on, if they do not value your suggestions, I'm not saying that to tell them to change the entire game. I'm just talking about suggestions, small little progressive suggestions. As you as an asset, in a sense, as an asset for the future instead of a current asset, because the current asset mentality is garbage. It's like saying you're a tester, you'll never go anywhere. Fuck you, you're staying as this kind of asset. They don't see the people with higher, let's say higher potential, people who want to go higher, people who want to do program, art, animation, mocap, yada yada yada. They don't see that. And if you land in that kind of situation and you spot that kind of mentality, you're not gonna have a good time. So fuck. And it sucks. Like, I'm about to wrap this up, okay? It sucks because game testing used to be the start towards getting into production or just other things. You had people like Patrice Desilets, you had people like David Jaffe coming up from testing with ideas and then getting heard at meetings. And then, boom, go, we'll give you a chance, let's go. But it's not like that anymore. The gaming or the industry is leaving you less chances now. It feels, and again, that's insinuation for my part. Don't ever count it as a golden word, but it feels like the industry is so scared of its own asshole that they only want to give chances to people with prior industry experience, like seniors. Seems like they only want seniors now. You look at job posting, it definitely looks like seniors most of the times. 80% of the times it's seniors. Instead of giving chance to the juniors, or giving chance to people to become juniors. And that sucks, because we can see the effect of that with products. We can see the effect of that with trends. We can see the effect of that with business decisions. But most of these people got the fuck out, did indie games. Hell, even the seniors are fucking sick and tired of this kind of business mentality, got the fuck out, and guess what? Did indie games. So, I don't know what's going to happen, man. Shit is going to change. Shit is about to change, but that was a glimpse at game testing, or just my personal game testing experience. Man, I need to shave at one point. And there's this awesome comic called Into the Trench, or In the Trench. You can find it. Gives you a parody of what's going on. But it's a very good comic, and I guess I need to do some more parodies of that somehow. Parodies of testing, parodies of the industry. That seems to be what got me to be like, just let's hammer on this industry. Let's get some shit to change in a sense. Or let's just make fun of the stupidity happening when it comes to the game industry. Because, man, that internal bullshit. Fuck it. Anyway, I won't hold you. I gotta go. It's nighttime. Probably daytime by the time you're looking at this. You won't notice. I got drawings to do, alright? So I'll see you next time. Thanks again for listening. If you want, subscribe. There could be more little stories like that. But I need to get this animation going. And I've got the pencil arm to do so. They don't mix. Later, people.